Vadd here, and welcome to episode 14 of AG Reborn. You know, we've been flying around on these Pteranodons, and I thought it was time to go ahead and take out our champion Quetzal, but it needs a name, and I decided we should name it Huitzilopochtli. Yep, that's right, the Hummingbird of the South. Seemed like the perfect name. Whenever you look at these giant Quetzals that's oversized in the champion tier, don't you think Hummingbird of the South? Now here's the thing, we can build on it. We can put that platform saddle and we can go ahead and build whatever on it. We just can't cryopod or soul ball it because it'll get destroyed. So I built this little open glass structure that'll let us shoot through the edges, and I'm hoping to take this out for some taming. You know, we've been working in the early game to get off the ground, get our base established, get some farming tames, get some flying tames, get some fighting tames. We've more or less done that a couple of different ways. However, we need better tames. You know, that's kind of the next step in your AG Reborn adventure, to go out and tame stuff. And today we're going to tame some DodoRexys. It's not a DodoRex, it's a DodoRexy. And we're also going to see a lot of the center map. So here, coming out of the Sky Captain base, you can see the blue obelisk, and we're coming into the redwood biomes. It's right next to us. Part of why I continue to feel like the center map is teeny tiny is all the biomes are just a couple of seconds of flying away. Here, we're in a complete new biome. I like it. Not a complaint, not a bad thing, just another facet of, okay, so with the champion Quetzal, we've got a little bit of a problem. The wings are too big. It's just so big. You can't shoot out the side. I needed to build like some planks or something to walk out there, those catwalks, and I did it. So I've been kind of parking the Quetzal here with it facing away from whatever we're shooting at. Now, you might have noticed that we're taming things in the water, which in ARK is generally a terrible idea, but remember, we're in an overhaul mod. This is AG Reborn. A little bit of Annunaki, a little bit of Extinction core. We're in, you know, Annunaki Reborn. I think that's the name. Listen, when you're in the water, you can see here there's not a bunch of megalodons flying around. They're swimming around, whatever they do in the water. So it's fairly safe. And since we're using these absolutely fantastic metal trank arrows, the food's gone all the way down. We've already set ourselves up to have a steady supply of golden treats. It's pretty much an instant tame. So even though we're in the water, we're not worried. Now, what I didn't think about was the hassle it would be to not only get out of the water, but to get back up to our Quetzal. It was actually a surprisingly large hassle, because somehow, some way, I swear I parked it closer to this rock. I didn't, I was wrong, but you can grapple to your tames. I don't know if that's a setting you have to set up, but I've always been able to, and or we could grapple to our platform saddle. It's a little glitchy, but hey, it's ARK, what's new? Listen, you can get these DodoRexys all over the place. Fire, flame, shock, snow, they come in all the elements, just like the Avatar, but they're all over the map. You can really just go to almost any corner of the map. If you're playing this mod, you've probably run into them, and they've probably killed you. They're actually really dangerous. There's a reason we've waited so long to tame them. Yes, we could have tamed them sooner. However, we didn't need to. We weren't ready to. And I wanted to tame some elemental Carnos. I wanted to tame some elemental Gigantopithecus. We actually have skipped so many cool elemental tames that we haven't tried. The wolves are a great tame. The saber-tooths should be a good tame as well. You know, the saber lions can get saddles. You know, there's good elemental tames, but I think at least for where we are in our progression and our adventure, that the DodoRexy would definitely kind of be the next tier up. Now, we have been messing around with the prime alphas and fighting some alphas, and maybe you didn't have good success with that. You know, maybe you really struggled to get your alpha hat. Look at these, it's so like magic. Can you believe we can just grapple vertically up these giant trees? It was really actually a bit of a pain to be shooting things in the redwood biome because of the giant redwood trees. I kept trying to get my shot lined up, and the DodoRexy kept just flying around. Listen, you're gonna want to maybe go and try to tame your way up the elemental tier. These DodoRexys are significantly stronger than the Carnos. They're stronger than all the other elemental tames we have tamed to date. They're stronger than the Gigantopithecus. They're stronger than the wolves or saber-tooths. These are really a great option if you have trouble getting the alpha hat. You know, you need those evolution tributes, which means you need to be reliably killing prime alphas, and those are tough fights. So if you're having trouble getting into the alpha tier to tame some of those. You could try and tame just a higher tier elemental tier. And look, we've gone from the redwoods, we went to the snow, past the floating biome, the floating kind of island, over the swamp twice, and back into the snow. Like we really have completely traversed the map just to try and get the best levels we could with these DodoRexys. If you're having trouble getting into the prime alphas, the DodoRexys are a great pick. And having the alpha hat on, though, is kind of spooky. I really keep thinking things are about to attack us. There's a giant wyvern right there, completely ignores us. And on our champion Quetzal, it pretty much gets ignored as well. I haven't seen anything aggro to it yet. I don't know if that's because we've been parking it way up in the sky, or if things just aren't aggroing to it. I wouldn't trust that things won't attack it, but I did discover that, see here, you can see the obelisk in the distance. We're here kind of near the lava island of death, and here's where the earth just falls off. That's right, the map just has this hard edge. It's the wackiest little thing. It's kind of fun, but I was kind of caught off guard. I was like, good thing I wasn't boating out here. We just sail off the edge. It was just wild. Hey, you can get these DodoRexys in all 4 of the elements. You don't need to go and get all 4 elements, but we're going to get a breeding pair of each element because we do not want to be taking out our original set of dinos into the wilds, because if we lose them, we're completely out of luck. You know, the poison tier should be dealing some toper damage. The fire should be the strongest elemental tier. Get the tame that you can get. Don't feel like you have to be super picky and choosy. It seems like most of the times in the AG Reborn mods, the tamed dinos outperform the wild dinos fairly consistently. It seems like if I take a tamed version versus its wild version, we pretty much stomp it. Maybe that's the health potions, maybe that's the saddle, maybe it's just we get some level bonuses from using, you know, whatever the preferred food might be. All that being said, it's a DodoRexy, not a Dodorex, ends with an XY, and it is a unique tame to this mod. You know, this isn't something you can get in vanilla ARK. You know, vanilla ARK, yes, you could tame a Gigantopithecus, you could tame a Carno. Hey, check this out. This is one of the bosses we haven't seen yet. This is one of the mega bosses. It's named Aldun, which sounds kind of terrifying. So, you know, we talked about what we're working towards more than once, and kind of the big overarching goal is there's some boss fights in our future. Beyond exploring the mod, taming cool tames, building new bases, trying out this new map, one of the other things we're working towards is fighting some of these bosses. Hopefully we can get a good boss fight in with Aldun, the Mega Dragon. I haven't seen that Mega Dragon before, but it's important to remember that we are actually working towards a boss fight. One boss fight specifically that we're actually, I think it's kind of like the end game boss. I think it's called the world boss. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. But the mega bosses are a tier of boss that we haven't seen too many of them. They every once in a while, you know, on the top of our screen it says, hey, a boss is coming. Oh, would you look at that? By the way, we've now been to the snow. We crossed the entire map to get back to the redwoods because this is where the next DodoRexy was. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's right, a flame. So we caught a flame and a shock in the redwoods. You know, they really do seem to spawn on over, but we need to be taming our way up the ladder. We need to be getting better tiered tames so we can fight some of these bosses. And I think the DodoRexy would definitely be worth trying out. Check out the cool colors we got. You know, the shock ones here have this kind of print under them, as well as the snow ones and the poison ones. They all kind of have a cool tail print. I really like that. And they still have that traditional kind of elemental aura around them. They don't quite fit anywhere. Everything in this mod is so big. They have their own unique saddle. Part of why we've also waited a while to get them is the saddle, you need to be level 100, and it's pretty expensive. It's not impossible to get. All those items are things you have now seen how to get, and or they're just vanilla ARK items that I expect you as an Overhaul player to know how to get. So check out the cool colors, check out the different kind of poison glow, the shock kind of, you know, electric lines that are jumping all over. Flame has a little bit of fire at the feet. We're going to start breeding these up, and let's take a look at where we are with our Carnos. We went ahead and tamed a prime alpha, the alpha Carno, and you can see that the alpha raptor is just about as big as the elemental fire Carno. A little smaller, but almost as big, and the Alpha Carno is bigger than both. Alpha Carno does have its own unique saddle. You can see it's a lot cheaper than the elemental DodoRexy. We named it Toro, seemed like a decent name for a Carno. Listen, I'm not sure really where it kind of fits in the strength order, since the DodoRexy saddle is almost, you know, 4 times as expensive. I would almost think that the Alpha Carno is a weaker tame, even though it's in a tier above. You know, I have some concerns about how to categorize it, but you know what time it is. It's time for the rematch on Red Obelisk. We've got to get there. I took a little time on a flyer, and I determined there is a way to get up there. I was actually pretty shocked how well the Alpha Carno swam. I was not expecting it to be this good of a swimmer, but it just floats along the surface and it makes fantastic time. I took a little time, scouted out on a flyer. This island is just death. There's no reason to ever go here. You're just going to get blown up by everything. It's full of just wyverns, big carnivores all around, the big four bosses. It's just always full of just destruction. However, I'm really hoping that we have our ghillie armor. We have this alpha war chief hat thing, so we can't be seen. We're kind of on a medium to large carnivore. No, never mind. Raptors immediately aggressive to us. Whatever, it's cool. We can fight you. You know, we're pretty deadly. You know, with this being 100% imprinted, we've got a good saddle on it. I'm not expecting us to take much damage, and I actually am expecting us to punish whatever we can. We are fairly deadly. Now, that doesn't mean we won't get a lag spike or be destroyed, but we're pretty and the RG. So apparently, regardless the hat, the armor, or the tame, Robo Gorilla. So there's let's get out of here, RG. So there's a robot tier. We mentioned this in the first episode, the different tiers, but we haven't seen all of them yet. There's just so many different tiers. It's nearly impossible to see them all in one episode in a respectable way. So here's our first look at the Robo tier. It's made. Okay. Wow, it has 70 million health. Well, we're going to avoid it, and hopefully it gets angry at one of these predators. Yes, the T-Rex, the Indominus Rex, the Giga, they're all just hanging out here. This is such a bad place to be. However, it's the straightest path to the Red Obelisk. It goes right here. We were going the complete wrong way the whole time. We would have had to run literally 5 or 6 times farther than was even remotely necessary in order to get to the Red Obelisk. We're here. Wasn't that hard if you knew where to go and you ran in a straight line and, you know, didn't get in trouble. Okay, I think we lost the aggro of the Robo Gorilla guy. That's good. Well, Spino up on a rock. Yeah, there's Carno. Just a regular Carno's angry at us. Yeah, I've got no idea why, but we basically pull aggro of absolutely everything in our area. Not a big deal, but I was really expecting that not to happen. It made sense on the monkey, you know, it's a herbivore, we're sitting there out in the open, but here on a Carnotaurus, you know, a Carno, it is a carnivore. It's a large tame, you know, it's not a nobody, but we're just getting chomped, and we are able to, you know, put up a good fight versus this male Spino, but all that being said, we made it. We made it to the Red Obelisk. This mission is over. Obelisk or bust. We did bust a few times, but now we're here, and I think we're done. I don't know why we'd ever come back to this island. We actually really will have to come back to this island. It seems to be a good place where we can test our tames for what they can fight. It reliably has large predators for us to challenge ourselves against, and we do need to be taming the big four, the Indominus Rex, the T-Rex, the Spino, I'm forgetting one, the Giga. I think the Giga is the fourth one. You know, that's another goal that we're working towards here. And before we can challenge some of the bosses, we have those DodoRexys. Oh, what in the world? Well, that was weird. Yeah, wyvern, zombie wyvern. It says it's tameable by knockout. Huh, wonder if that's true. Well, it's dead now. Good work, us. Hey, we're gonna come back here. We need to tame some of these predators. What is this? Prime. Wow, okay, we'll just fight this T-Rex. It's a mean T-Rex. Oh no, not the Robo. Oh, he's beating his chest. That's usually... Is he glitched? No. Oh, we're dead. Well, we actually got killed so hard our body was deleted. This is part of why when you're in an overhaul mod, you oftentimes want to get some kind of body locator, body bag thing. The wild thing is it just killed us, completely ignored our tame, and nothing attacked the Prime Alpha Carno, and the whole time it took us to come back to it. If you don't have a body bag finder mod, you know, the mod list is in the description. Sometimes that happens and your body's just gone forever. It's just been deleted off the map. Something spawned in, something that I wanted to take advantage of and get into this episode. I think this is the big boss. Check this out. The world boss showed up. I don't know how often it shows up, but it's the first time it's been in here, so I wanted to catch it on camera, and it worked out right after we died from that Carno. I mean the Robo. We were on the way back to our Carno, and it showed up. Check this thing out. Is this thing not cool? Now, it does have almost 400 million health. This is a great time to comment. How do we kill this thing? I'm looking for any and all suggestions. What's the trick here? What are its moves? What should we look out for? Come on, help me out here. If you know the answers, I would love to hear about them because we're going to fight it. I don't know exactly if it only comes with the lightning, if the lightning is a center thing. You know, I enjoy playing on the center, but recording on the center. A lot of the footage is like this, giant lightning storm, raining in the dark. You know, I spend time in post-production making sure that it's not incredibly dark, because if you pay attention to the night sky, it's got some stars. But seriously, comment now, what do we do with this thing? How do we fight it? What's the tricks here? Because we're gonna fight it. That's the goal. If we fight this thing, we win. The end. But I don't exactly know what tame we should use, and we're not there yet. We're not ready yet, but it does spawn in randomly, and I wanted to show you that. And we're here on this floating island map. Now, it's tough to appreciate just how big the world boss is until we kind of get closer to it, and it doesn't really even fit on our screen barely. I'm in K mode here, just trying to get a visual on the big baddie here, but it's just about impossible. I am not sure why, but it's fairly intimidating. Only one thing left to do: get out our shotgun, turn on our light, and if you learned something or enjoyed this video, share with a friend. If you are new here, subscribe now. If you have joined and enjoyed before, welcome back. If you would like to see more quality content, please consider joining me in supporting the channel through Patreon and utilizing the affiliated links. Thanks.